This segment's going to be on locator calls. Now, locator calls are very pivotal use in turkey hunting. Locator calls are used when you don't want to sound like a hen, so the turkey doesn't believe that there's actually a hen there and won't come to you, but he'll try to shot gobble, and you'll know where he's at. Now, turkeys during the springtime, they shot gobble with a lot of sounds just because they're all fired up because they're ready to breed. And there's a few calls that it really seem to gobble at, and I'm going to demonstrate. It's Nightingale makes. It's called Nightingale Team Pinpoint, and it's pretty much made out of 3 locator calls. It's a crow call, an owl call, and a pileated woodpecker call. Now, all 3 will make turkeys gobble, but it depends what time of day that you use them that will make the turkeys gobble. Now, sometimes early morning, barred owl call is a noise that turkeys are kind of used to. And right when the sun's starting to come up, if you maybe hit them with an owl call, they might gobble. Now, this is what an owl call sounds like. Now, one of the tricks I've learned is to say, kind of practice, who cooks for you all? And just kind of say that into the call, and this is what it would sound like. And sometimes that'll be enough to get that turkey to shot gobble. Now, sometimes if you get one hard blow on the owl call, they'll gobble right at that, just like this. Now, for some reason, I really just don't really particularly care for the owl call. And so I did some research, and some of my experiences hunting last year, I remember hearing this one bird that the turkeys would always gobble at. As soon as the sun would come up, this bird was the loudest bird, and they would just go off, and the gobblers would just gobble and gobble and gobble at it. And I'd just pray that I'd hear that bird go off, and so that turkey would gobble so I would know it was that. But I couldn't replicate that sound last year. So I did some research and found out that that's actually called a pileated woodpecker. Now, they let out a real shrill, kind of almost like a whistle. And it's really loud, but the gobblers always seem to gobble at it. And this is what it sounds like. And those gobblers would just gobble and gobble at it. And I couldn't figure out what that was called, but it's called a pileated woodpecker. And this is the call. Now, I am really looking forward to this season so I can get a chance to use it out in the woods. But it just sounds interesting. It takes a little bit of practice to get the rhythm down. And I've only had this call for about a week, so I just want to try to practice it. And this will be one of the first calls I'll pull out of my turkey vest when that early morning sun comes up, and I want to make those gobblers gobble. Now, the last locator call I'm going to demonstrate is just a normal crow call, and this is kind of like about a midday hunt, kind of like after the birds have kind of the hens have left the toms, and the toms are all by themselves, and they're just kind of trying to gobble to bring more hens to them. But this makes a pretty good midday when the sun's up and it's kind of hot. If you kind of give a couple blows on this crow call, the gobblers might gobble at it. Now, you get two loud blows like that, will normally get those gobblers they'll gobble right at you, and you'll know right where they're at. Now, it's important not to blow too loud, or else you might scare the turkey if he's close. So just a little bit softer sometimes will get it done. Now, you always want to, when you're blowing on the locator call, you always want to listen for that turkey, because he might cut you off right in the middle of your calling, and you don't want to miss his gobble. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to using this pileated woodpecker call. Now, I want to practice with it a little bit more, and I'm going to give y'all an example of each locator call again, just so you know what it sounds like. Again, the owl call. Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you all? That was the owl call. Here's the pileated woodpecker. And last but not least, the crow call. So I hope y'all learned something by this, and go out and get you some locator calls so you can be able to locate some toms come hunting season.